In the year 2147, Earth's skies burn with the scars of war. Humanity's relentless attacks on an unseen alien force have pushed the cosmos to the brink. A chilling message arrives. Stop attacking, or we stop pretending to be civilized. The clock is ticking. Will humanity heed the warning or face a reckoning beyond imagination? Welcome to Earth's final warning. The year was 2147, and Earth was a fractured world. Decades of resource wars, climate collapse, and unchecked AI had left humanity clinging to fortified megacities, their skies choked with drones and their streets patrolled by robotic enforcers. In New Cascadia, the largest of these cities, Dr. Amara Voss, a brilliant xenolinguist, stared at her console in the Global Defense Array's subterranean command center. Her dark eyes flicked across streams of data, her fingers trembling. She wasn't supposed to be here. Not on the night shift. Not when the world was teetering on the edge of another interstellar blunder. Amara's team had intercepted a signal 6 hours ago, a pulsing rhythmic hum that didn't match any known human or AI signature. It came from beyond the Kuiper Belt, a region humanity had only recently begun to probe with militarized drones. The signal wasn't random noise. It was structured, layered with fractal patterns that suggested intent. Amara's job was to decode it, but her gut told her this was no ordinary transmission. "Voss, you're staring at that screen like it's about to bite you," said Captain Elias Kane, leaning against the doorway. His grizzled face, scarred from a drone skirmish in the Pacific Rim conflict, betrayed a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Kane was the head of New Cascadia's Orbital Defense Unit, a man who trusted bullets over algorithms. "What's the holdup?" "It's not human," Amara said, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "The signal's syntax is alien. I need more time." "Time's what we don't have," Kane replied, glancing at the holomap projected above the room. Red dots marked Earth's orbital cannons, green ones the drones patrolling the outer solar system. "The Council's itching to fire another salvo at whatever's out there. They think it's the Xyrans again." The Xyrans. Humanity's first confirmed alien contact, 30 years prior, had been a disaster. A Xyran probe, mistaken for a weapon, was shot down over Mars. The retaliation was swift. A single Xyran vessel disabled Earth's satellite network in hours, leaving no trace of itself. Since then, humanity had militarized space, launching probes and weapons toward anything that moved beyond Neptune. The Xyrans hadn't returned, or so it seemed. Amara's assistant, a wiry young coder named Jiro Tanaka, burst into the room, his augmented reality glasses glowing with data. "Dr. Voss, the signal's repeating. I ran it through the quantum decryptor. It's not just a message, it's a warning." "Show me," Amara said, her heart racing. Jiro projected the translation onto the main screen. The words were stark. "Pinnacle. Cease hostilities, stop attacking, or we stop pretending to be civilized." The room fell silent. Kane's jaw tightened. "Pretending to be civilized? What the hell does that mean?" Amara didn't answer. She was already cross-referencing the signal's origin. It wasn't Xyran. It lacked their harmonic signature. This was something new, something older. The signal's source was a point in the Oort cloud, a region so distant it was barely mapped. Whatever sent it had technology far beyond humanity's. "We need to tell the Council," Amara said. Now. The Global Defense Council convened via hologram within the hour. Representatives from the 5 megacities, New Cascadia, Europlex, Sahara Prime, East Asia Collective, and Australis, argued over the signal's implications. General Nadia Volkov, a hardliner from Europlex, dominated the discussion. Her shaved head gleamed under the artificial lights, her voice like steel. "We've been probing the Oort cloud for years," Volkov said. "If this is a bluff, we call. If it's a threat, we neutralize it. We don't negotiate with ghosts." Amara leaned forward, her hologram flickering. "This isn't a bluff. The signal's complexity suggests a civilization orders of magnitude beyond us. We can't just shoot first and ask questions later." "Dr. Voss," sneered Counselor Liang Wei of the East Asia Collective, Your job is to translate, not strategize. We've survived the Zyrans, we'll survive this. Survived? Amara shot back. We lost our satellite grid and half our orbital defenses. We're still recovering. If this is a new player, we can't afford another mistake. The debate raged for hours, but Volkov's faction won. The Council authorized a preemptive strike, a fleet of hypersonic drones armed with fusion warheads aimed at the signal's source. Amara watched, helpless, as the launch codes were entered. Kane caught her eye, his expression unreadable. "We're poking a hornet's nest," she whispered. "Then you'd better figure out what those hornets are saying," Kane replied. As the drones launched, Amara returned to her console, diving into the signal's sub-frequencies. There was more to it, hidden layers encrypted in a way that suggested the sender wanted her to find them. By dawn, she'd isolated a secondary message. Coordinates not in the Oort cloud, but on Earth. A remote site in the Antarctic wasteland, buried under kilometers of ice. "Gyro," she said. "Get me a transport. We're going to Antarctica." The Antarctic wasteland was a graveyard of ice and steel. Amara, Gyro, and a small security team led by Kane touched down in a stealth transport, its engines whining against the howling wind. The coordinates pointed to a crevasse, a jagged scar in the ice that plunged into darkness. Sensors detected an anomaly, a structure impossibly old, buried beneath the glacier. "This is insane," Gyro muttered, his breath fogging in the sub-zero air. His glasses displayed thermal scans, revealing a faint heat signature deep below. No human tech could survive down there, not for millennia. Kane checked his rifle, a sleek plasma model. "Doesn't mean it's friendly, stay sharp." Amara ignored their banter, her mind on the signal. The secondary message had included a phrase: "Seek the archive. Understand before you act." She didn't know what the archive was, but it felt like a lifeline, a chance to avoid the catastrophe she feared was coming. They descended into the crevasse, rappelling down icy walls. At 500 meters, they found it, a metallic structure, its surface smooth and unblemished despite the crushing weight of the ice. It wasn't human. It wasn't Zyran either. The alloy shimmered with an iridescent glow, and a faint hum emanated. From within, "Gyro, scan it," Amara ordered. He complied, his glasses flashing. No radiation, no electromagnetic interference. But there's a door. Biometric lock, maybe. Amara approached, her gloved hand brushing the surface. The door slid open silently, revealing a chamber lit by soft blue light. Inside were rows of crystalline panels, each pulsing with data. It was a library, an alien archive. Kane's team swept the chamber, finding no threats. Amara activated her portable AI, a custom model she'd nicknamed Echo, to interface with the crystals. Echo's voice, calm and synthetic, filled her earpiece. The archive contains records spanning 12,000 years. It predates human civilization. Amara's pulse quickened. "Can you translate?" "Partially. The records describe a species called the Sentinels. They seeded Earth with observation posts millennia ago, monitoring humanity's development. They've been silent until now." "Why now?" Kane asked, his voice low. Echo paused, processing. "Humanity's attacks on their probes triggered a protocol. The warning was their final attempt at diplomacy." Amara's stomach sank. "And if we don't stop, the Sentinels will intervene. The archive doesn't specify how, but it mentions recalibration." Gyro frowned. "Recalibration? Sounds like a euphemism for wiping us out." Amara didn't respond. She was already downloading the archive's data, her mind racing. The Sentinels had watched humanity evolve, seen its wars, its triumphs, its failures. Why warn us now? What had changed? Back in New Cascadia, the Council was unmoved by Amara's findings. Volkov dismissed the archive as alien propaganda and pushed for escalating the drone strikes. But Amara noticed something in the data, a reference to a Sentinel envoy, a being sent to Earth to negotiate. The coordinates matched a derelict space station in low Earth orbit, abandoned since the Zyran incident. "We need to get to that station," Amara told Kane. "If there's an envoy, we can talk to it. Stop this before it's too late. Kane hesitated. You're asking me to defy the Council. That's treason. It's survival, Amara said. You know Volkov's wrong. Kane grunted, then nodded. I'll get us a shuttle, but if this goes south, it's on you. The shuttle was a relic cobbled together from salvaged parts, but it got them to the station. The derelict orbited Earth like a forgotten relic, its hull pockmarked from micrometeorites. Amara, Kane, and Jiro docked, their suits sealed against the vacuum. Inside, the station was a maze of flickering lights and decayed machinery, until they reached the central chamber. There, floating in zero gravity, was the envoy. It wasn't humanoid, nor was it mechanical. It resembled a cloud of shimmering particles, coalescing into a vaguely spherical form. Its surface pulsed with light, synchronized with the signal Amara had decoded. I am Kalith, emissary of the Sentinels, it said, its voice resonating in their minds rather than their ears. You have come to plead for your species. Amara stepped forward, her suit's thrusters keeping her steady. We received your warning. We want to understand. Why now? Why threaten us? Kalith's form rippled. For millennia, we observed. You were children, learning, failing, growing. But your aggression has spilled beyond your world. You attack what you do not understand. The Zyrans were our kin, testing your restraint. You failed, Kane bristled. They crippled our defenses. We had to fight back. You chose escalation, Kalith said. Now you target our probes in the Oort cloud. Each strike is a declaration of war. Amara's mind raced. We didn't, no. Our leaders, they're scared. They think force is the only answer. Then your leaders are fools, Kalith said. We are not your enemy, but we will not tolerate your chaos. Cease your attacks, or we will act. What does recalibration mean? Jiro asked, his voice trembling. Kalith's form darkened. It is the restoration of balance. Your species will be adjusted. Amara felt a chill. Give us time. We can stop the attacks. Convince our leaders. Kalith was silent for a long moment. You have 3 days. Return with proof of your intent or we will proceed. The shuttle ride back was tense. Kane was skeptical, Jiro was terrified, and Amara was determined. She uploaded the envoy's message to the Council along with the archive's data. But Volkov's response was predictable. She called it a trap and doubled down on the drone strikes. Worse, she accused Amara of collaborating with the enemy. We're running out of options, Amara told Kane. We need allies, someone the Council can't ignore. Jiro, still shaken, had an idea. The underground. They've got hackers, defectors, people who've been fighting the Council's wars from the shadows. If we can get them on our side, we might have a shot. The underground was a network of rebels operating outside the megacities, hidden in the ruins of old Earth. Amara had never trusted them. They were as likely to sell her out as help her. But with time running out, she had no choice. The underground's base was a labyrinth of tunnels beneath the ruins of old Vancouver. Amara, Kane, and Jiro were blindfolded and led through a maze of checkpoints, their gear confiscated. The rebel leader, a woman named Zara Chen, greeted them with a smirk. Her cybernetic arm gleamed under the dim lights, a reminder of the wars she'd survived. You're the ones who talked to an alien, Zara said, her voice laced with amusement. Why should we care? Amara laid out the stakes. The Sentinel. Warning, the envoy. The looming recalibration. Zara listened, her expression unreadable. When Amara finished, Zara leaned back in her chair. You're asking us to risk everything for a maybe, Zara said. The Council's been bleeding us dry for years. Why should we save their asses? Because this isn't about the Council, Amara said. It's about humanity. If we don't stop the attacks, the Sentinels won't just target New Cascadia or Europlex, they'll target everyone. Zara's second-in-command, a hacker named Malik, spoke up. We've got drones of our own, old ones, but they work. We could hit the Council's launch sites, disrupt their strikes. Kane raised an eyebrow. You'd be declaring war on the megacities. We're already at war, Zara said. The Council just doesn't admit it. Amara saw an opportunity. Work with us. We'll get you the Sentinel data. Proof of what's coming. You disrupt the strikes, we'll negotiate with the envoy. Zara agreed, but not without conditions. She wanted access to the archive's tech, a chance to level the playing field against the council. Amara hesitated but nodded. It was a gamble, but they were out of time. The Underground's plan was audacious. A coordinated cyber attack on the council's drone network, paired with physical strikes on launch sites. Jiro and Malik worked together, hacking into the council's systems while Zara's teams prepared for guerrilla raids. Amara and Kane returned to New Cascadia to monitor the envoy's deadline, but Volkov was one step ahead. She'd traced Amara's movements, branding her a traitor. As Amara's team re-entered the city, drones ambushed them. Kane's training kicked in, and he took down 2 with precise shots, but they were outnumbered. "Run!" Kane shouted, shoving Amara toward an alley. Jiro followed, clutching his tablet. They escaped, but Kane was captured. Amara's heart pounded as they hid in a derelict warehouse. "We can't leave him," she said. "We won't," Jiro replied, already hacking into the city's surveillance grid. "But we need to move fast. The envoy's deadline is in 36 hours. Amara and Jiro linked up with Zara's team in a safe house on the city's edge. Malik had cracked the council's drone codes, giving the Underground control of a small fleet. They launched their attack at dawn, targeting launch sites across the megacities. Explosions lit up the horizon as drones turned on their own masters, sowing chaos. Amara used the distraction to infiltrate the council's detention center, where Kane was being held. With Jiro's hacks disabling security, she found him bruised but alive. "You're a pain in the ass, Voss," he muttered, limping as they escaped. Back at the safe house, Zara delivered grim news. The council had launched a second wave of drones toward the Oort cloud, defying the envoy's warning. Amara contacted Kalith via a secure channel, pleading for more time. The envoy's response was cold. "You have failed. Recalibration begins in 12 hours. Desperate, Amara proposed a final plan. Return to the space station, bring Zara and Malik, and show Kalith the Underground's efforts. If they could prove humanity was trying to change, maybe the Sentinels would listen. The shuttle ride was tense, with Zara's skepticism clashing with Amara's determination. On the station, Kalith was waiting. Its form pulsed with agitation. "Your leaders defy us. Your attacks continue." Amara gestured to Zara. "Not all of us. These people are fighting to stop the council. Give us a chance to prove it." Zara stepped forward, her cybernetic arm whirring. "We've taken down half their launch sites. We're risking our lives to fix this. If you wipe us out, you're no better than the council." Kalith's light flickered as if considering. "Your actions are noted, but intent is not enough. The recalibration is active. What is it?" Amara demanded. "Tell us what we're facing." Kalith projected an image, Earth surrounded by a lattice of energy. "A neural suppression field. It will reset your species' cognitive aggression, rendering you incapable of violence. But it will cost you much of what makes you human." Jiro paled. "You're talking about lobotomizing the planet." "It is recalibration," Kalith said. "A necessary correction." Amara's mind raced. "There's another way. Let us shut down the remaining launch sites. If we stop the attacks, will you call it off?" Kalith was silent. Then, "You have 6 hours. Succeed or the field activates." Back on Earth, the Underground launched an all-out assault. Malik's hacks crippled the Council's defenses, while Zara's teams hit the remaining launch sites. Amara, Kane, and Jiro joined a raid on New Cascadia's primary drone facility, a fortress bristling with automated turrets. The battle was brutal. Kane took a hit to the shoulder but kept fighting, his plasma rifle cutting through drones. Jiro planted a virus in the facility's core, shutting down the drone network. Amara faced Volkov herself, who had barricaded the control room. "You're destroying us," Volkov spat, her pistol aimed at Amara. "You think aliens care about your ideals? I think they're giving us a chance," Amara said. Stand down, Nadia, it's over. Volkov fired, but Kane tackled Amara, taking the shot in his leg. Amara disarmed Volkov, pinning her to the ground. Call off the drones, now. Volkov. Defeated entered the abort codes. The Oort cloud strike stopped. With minutes to spare, Amara contacted Kalith. The attacks are over. Check your sensors. We've done what you asked. Kalith's response was slow, deliberate. The strikes have ceased. The recalibration is paused, but we will continue to watch. The envoy vanished, leaving the station. Silent. Amara exhaled, her body trembling. They'd won, for now. The aftermath was chaotic. The council was in disarray, Volkov arrested, and the underground hailed as heroes. Amara, Kane, and Jiro returned to the Antarctic archive, ensuring its data was preserved. The Sentinel's warning had exposed humanity's flaws, but also its potential. Zara's rebels began rebuilding, using the archive's tech to bridge the gap between the megacities and the ruins. Amara stood on a cliff overlooking New Cascadia, the city's lights flickering in the dusk. Kane joined her, his wounds bandaged. Think they'll come back? He asked. They never left, Amara said. They're watching, always have been. Jiro, now leading a team to study the archive, called her over. There's more in the data. The Sentinels didn't just observe us, they shaped us. Our evolution, our tech, they've been guiding us for millennia. Amara nodded, the weight of it sinking in. Humanity wasn't alone, and it never had been. The question was whether they could learn from their mistakes. As the sun set, Amara addressed a global broadcast, the archive's data streaming behind her. We've been given a second chance, she said. Let's not waste it. If you enjoyed Earth's Final Warning, please support our channel. Subscribe, share, and join our community to explore more stories of humanity's future. Your support keeps these tales alive. Thank you.